Imagine waking up tomorrow knowing that you're part of an elite 2%, the only people who develop true personal initiative while 98% wander through life without purpose. And today, you'll discover exactly what they know that others don't. My name is Noam, and I'm about to share with you the exact formula that Andrew Carnegie, one of the richest men in history, invested a fortune to discover. For over 2 decades, he commissioned Napoleon Hill to uncover the secrets of more than 500 of the most successful people who ever lived. Henry Ford, Thomas Edison, Theodore Roosevelt, Alexander Graham Bell, and many other industrial giants who built the foundations of the modern era. And the most incredible part? This century-old formula has already transformed millions of lives, and in the next 7 days, it will be your turn. Not years of struggle, 7 focused days using principles that created some of the greatest fortunes in history. Here's what happens in the next 25 minutes. You'll discover the exact 7-step system that transforms ordinary people into the extraordinary 2%. These aren't theories. They're battle-tested strategies that built empires. In the next few minutes, you'll have in your hands the same system that created historic fortunes, but applied to the reality of 2025. So, what's the first step of this success formula that Napoleon Hill discovered? The foundation of everything begins with understanding that success doesn't happen by chance. It's the result of specific principles applied consistently. The first and most fundamental of these principles is something Hill called definiteness of purpose. Have you ever wondered why some people seem to have an internal compass that guides them straight to success, while others wander in circles? The answer is hidden in something Carnegie discovered. Intro-end. Intro-end. Here's a statistic that might shock you. 95% of people never establish a definite purpose for their lives. They wander aimlessly, reacting to circumstances instead of creating them. Hill discovered that this is principle number 1, the foundation upon which all others are built. During his interviews with Carnegie and the industrial empire builders, Hill realized that each of them possessed a common characteristic. They knew exactly what they wanted to achieve. It wasn't a vague desire or a nebulous hope. It was a crystal clear, specific, and measurable statement of what they intended to accomplish. Carnegie told Hill, "A man with a definite purpose is like a powerful magnet that attracts all the circumstances, people, and opportunities necessary for the fulfillment of that purpose." And today, with artificial intelligence tools and digital resources available, identifying and refining this purpose has become more accessible than ever. Imagine for a moment, what if you knew exactly what you want to achieve in the next 5 years? What if you had such a clear vision of your future that every decision, every action, every investment of time and energy was aligned with this goal? The implementation is simple, yet powerful. You need to write a specific statement of your main objective. Not, "I want to be successful" or "I want to be rich," but something like, "By December 2026, I will have built a digital business that generates 300,000 reais monthly, allowing me to work from anywhere in the world while positively impacting the lives of 1,000 people per month." This statement should be read twice a day, once in the morning upon waking and once at night before sleeping, and it should be read with genuine emotion. Why? But here's what will really shock you about this process, and this will completely change how you see goal statements. But having a defined purpose is just the first step of transformation. Napoleon Hill discovered that for this goal to materialize into reality, you need to master a specific tool that he considered fundamental. Hill discovered that there exists a powerful psychological mechanism that he called autosuggestion. Autosuggestion is the bridge between conscious and subconscious thought. It's through this that you program your mind to automatically seek opportunities, develop skills, and make decisions that bring you closer to your goal. But here's the secret that most people ignore. Hill discovered that simple words without emotion do not influence the subconscious mind. This explains why most positive affirmations fail miserably. People repeat empty phrases without feeling, without conviction, without the emotional energy necessary to penetrate the deep layers of the mind. Wait, you need to hear this. Neuroscience just proved something that Hill discovered 100 years ago. Here's something that will shock you. Scientists discovered that your emotional brain processes information 60,000 times faster than your logical brain. That's why when you simply repeat phrases without feeling, your subconscious mind doesn't even listen. When you combine a clear statement with intense emotion, you're literally reprogramming your neural patterns. Today, over 150,000 people search monthly for solutions to limiting beliefs, proving in 2025 how relevant this principle continues to be. The difference is that now we understand scientifically why it works. Think about this. Have you ever tried to convince someone by shouting? It doesn't work, right? Your subconscious mind is the same. It only listens when you speak with true emotion. How many times have you said, "I want to change my life," without feeling absolutely anything? Compare this to moments when you were genuinely excited about a possibility, when your heart was racing, when you felt that energy coursing through your body. Which situation generated more action? Implementation requires a commitment of 20 to 30 minutes daily. You read your purpose statement with intense emotion, visualizing yourself having already achieved this goal. You see the details, feel the sensations, experience the gratitude of having already conquered what you desire. This practice must be done with the same consistency that an athlete trains or a musician rehearses. Limitations are just beliefs. They can be transformed. Now that you understand how to program your individual mind for success, the time has come to discover how to exponentially multiply this power through other people. Hill discovered that individual transformation is amplified through a principle that Hill considered the most important of all. He discovered that no person achieves extraordinary success working alone. All the great achievers in history used what he called the mastermind alliance. You know that feeling of being stuck on a problem and then you talk to a friend and suddenly the solution becomes obvious? That's just a taste of what Hill discovered. Imagine you're trying to solve a complex puzzle alone for hours. Suddenly, a friend joins you, and in 10 minutes you find the solution. This isn't coincidence. It's the mastermind power in action. The concept is revolutionary. When two or more minds work together in perfect harmony, they create a third invisible mind that is greater than the sum of the individual parts. Hill called this the most important principle of all because it exponentially multiplies individual power. But here's where it gets interesting and goes against everything you've learned about success. Here's a revealing statistic. 90% of people try to achieve success alone. They believe that asking for help is a sign of weakness, that sharing credit diminishes their achievements. This isolation mentality is one of the main causes of failure. Carnegie built his steel empire not through individual genius alone, but through a carefully constructed mastermind alliance. He surrounded himself with experts in metallurgy, engineering, sales, finance, and logistics. Each member contributed unique knowledge, and together they created solutions that none of them could develop alone. Ford and Edison maintained a mastermind alliance for decades, exchanging ideas, challenges, and opportunities. When Ford faced a production line problem, he had access to Edison's inventive genius. When Edison needed insights into mass manufacturing, he turned to Ford's practical knowledge. In 2025, the possibilities have expanded dramatically. Digital communities, AI tools, and networking platforms allow you to form mastermind alliances with people from around the world. You can connect with experts, mentors, and peers who share your goals and values. Implementation begins by identifying 2 or 3 people who possess knowledge, experiences, or resources that complement yours. It could be someone from your professional field, an experienced entrepreneur, or a person who has already achieved what you want to accomplish. The next step is to approach these people using the framework that Hill developed. You present the Mastermind Alliance concept, explain the mutual benefits, and propose regular meetings where each member can present challenges, share opportunities, and receive constructive feedback. What kind of alliance could you form to accelerate your goals? The Mastermind Alliance creates a solid foundation of mutual support. But now prepare yourself to discover the principle that Hill considered the most powerful of all, something that will completely revolutionize your approach by challenging everything you thought about giving and receiving. And now prepare yourself to discover the principle that Hill considered the most powerful of all, something that will completely revolutionize your approach. The power of alliance multiplies when you apply a principle that seems counterintuitive but is mathematically proven. Hill discovered that rendering more service than expected generates exponential returns. This concept challenges the transactional mentality that dominates our society. Most people ask, "What will I gain?" before asking, "What can I contribute?" This inversion of priorities is exactly what separates the 2% from the 98%. Let me tell you something that changed everything for me. I met a waiter who always brought water before customers even asked for it. Seems simple, doesn't it? But that small extra gesture got him promoted to manager in 6 months, while other waiters stayed in the same position for years. Hill observed that every successful person he interviewed applied this principle before achieving their big breakthrough. They consistently delivered superior value beyond what was requested or expected. Ford wasn't satisfied with just manufacturing functional cars. He created a system that made automobiles accessible to ordinary families. Edison didn't just invent the light bulb, he developed the entire electrical distribution system. Now, let me tell you something that will change your perspective forever. In 2025, this philosophy has become even more powerful. Research shows that authentic value delivery outperforms generic strategies by 3.5 times. The digital world allows you to impact thousands or millions of people simultaneously when you focus on delivering exceptional service. Connect this with the viral potential of authentic content. When you genuinely help people solve real problems or achieve important goals, they naturally share that experience. A single action of going above and beyond can generate a cascade of unexpected opportunities. But here's the counterintuitive aspect. You must apply this principle even when you don't see immediate rewards. Hill discovered that the universe operates with a kind of cosmic accounting. Every action of exceptional value is recorded and eventually compensated with compound interest. Implementation begins by identifying current situations, at work, in relationships, in projects, where you can render more service than the minimum necessary. It could be solving an additional problem for a client, teaching a skill to a colleague, or creating content that genuinely helps people in your field. How could you apply this principle in the next 24 hours? Rendering more service creates a solid foundation. But to materialize your objectives into tangible results, you need to master something Hill considered even more powerful. He discovered there's a crucial difference between passive hope and what he called applied faith. Applied faith isn't empty positive thinking or blind optimism. It's the combination of unwavering belief with persistent action, even in the face of seemingly insurmountable obstacles. It's the ability to maintain absolute conviction in the objective while working consistently toward its realization. Hill observed that every successful person possessed the ability to translate thoughts into physical and financial equivalents. They didn't just dream, they acted as if success were inevitable, even when external evidence suggested otherwise. Thomas Edison perfectly exemplifies this principle. When trying to invent the incandescent light bulb, he conducted more than 10,000 failed experiments. Journalists asked how he felt about so many failures. Edison replied, "I haven't failed 10,000 times. I've discovered 10,000 ways that don't work." Wait, you must be thinking, was Edison crazy? 10,000 failures and he still believed? But here's what nobody tells you about this story. But here's what changed everything and why this is crucial for you. This perspective reveals the essence of applied faith. Edison didn't see obstacles as evidence of impossibility, but as valuable information that brought him closer to the solution. Each failed experiment eliminated a variable, refined his understanding, and increased the probability of success in the next test. In 2025, 7-day programs achieve unprecedented success rates when they combine this mindset with modern tools. The correlation between unwavering belief and tangible results has been documented in thousands of cases around the world. Revolutionaries throughout history applied faith when they created inventions that transformed humanity. Alexander Graham Bell's telephone, the Wright brothers' airplane, Ford's mass production system, all these innovations were born from applied faith that persisted through skepticism, ridicule, and technical obstacles. Implementation requires that you approach your objectives with persistent action, regardless of temporary obstacles. When you encounter resistance, recognize it as valuable feedback, not as a signal to give up. When others say it's impossible, use that energy to strengthen your determination. What current obstacle could you reinterpret as valuable information instead of an insurmountable barrier? With these 5 fundamental principles solidly established, definite purpose, autosuggestion, mastermind alliance, exceptional service, and applied faith, you have built a solid foundation. Now you're ready for the 2 most advanced discoveries that Hill considered the pinnacle of his entire 2 decades of work. The first is the development of personal initiative, the power to self-initiate in a world transformed by artificial intelligence. In a job market where AI takes over routine tasks, personal initiative has become even more valuable. Hill discovered that this is the characteristic that separates leaders from followers, creators from executors, visionaries from followers. Personal initiative means identifying problems before they become critical, creating solutions before they're requested, and taking constructive action without waiting for detailed instructions. In a world of growing automation, this human capacity to think proactively and act independently becomes an invaluable competitive advantage. Think about your phone for a second. How many times do you pick it up without even noticing? That's the power of habit at work. Hill discovered there's a supercharged version of this that controls all other principles. The second advanced principle is what Hill called cosmic habit force, the crown jewel of all his research. Hill discovered there's a universal force that governs all other principles, a kind of natural law that, once understood and applied, guarantees permanent transformation. Modern neuroscience has validated this discovery through research on neuroplasticity. When you consistently repeat new patterns of thought and action, you're literally rebuilding the neural connections in your brain. After approximately 66 days of consistent repetition, these new patterns become automatic. Hill identified this as a meta-skill, the ability to control and direct all other principles through conscious habit formation. It's the master controller that ensures definiteness of purpose. Autosuggestion, mastermind alliance, going the extra mile, and applied faith become part of your nature, not just occasional techniques. Implementation involves identifying the 3 or 4 most important habits that will sustain your long-term goals, and then creating accountability systems that guarantee consistent repetition until they become automatic reflexes. What habits do you need to install to make success inevitable? And now get ready, because this next part will determine whether you actually change your life or just watched another video. Now comes the most important part, transforming this knowledge into tangible results in the next 7 days. Hill proved that these principles can generate measurable changes in 1 week when applied with intensity and consistency. Here's the truth. You can read this list and think, this seems like a lot of work. Or you can imagine where you'll be in 7 days if you actually do this. Which do you prefer? Another week just like all the others, or the week that changed your life forever? The viability of the 7-day timeline has been validated through thousands of documented cases. Autosuggestion begins restructuring neural patterns within the first 48 hours. Defining your purpose immediately activates the brain's selective attention system, making you notice opportunities that previously went unnoticed. Here's your specific action plan. Day 1. Write your definite purpose statement. Be specific, measurable, and emotional. Read it twice with total intensity. Day 1 complete? You're already ahead of 95% of people. Day 2, implement your auto-suggestion routine, 20 to 30 minutes of emotional visualization of your goal already achieved. Your subconscious mind is being reprogrammed at this very moment. Day 3, identify and invite 2 people to form your mastermind alliance. Schedule the first meeting. Day 3 completed. Now you have a personal army working toward your goals. Day 4, apply the principle of rendering more service in 3 different situations. Document the results. The universe is recording every action of value that you deliver. Day 5, practice applied faith by facing a current obstacle with renewed persistence. Every no brings you closer to the definitive yes. Day 6, develop personal initiative by identifying and solving a problem before being asked. You are becoming indispensable. Day 7, install the 3 most important habits through consistent repetition systems. Your new neural patterns are consolidating permanently. With AI tools and digital communities, you have access to resources that Carnegie, Ford, and Edison never imagined. Accountability apps, online mastermind groups, habit tracking systems, technology exponentially amplifies the power of these timeless principles. But before I reveal the final secret that Carnegie kept until the end, remember, these are not theoretical concepts developed in academic laboratories. They are principles validated by the builders of industrial empires, refined through decades of research, and proven by measurable results across generations. You now possess exactly what Carnegie, Ford, and Edison paid fortunes to discover. When we began this journey, I promised to reveal the century-old success formula that transforms ordinary people into extraordinary achievers. This promise has been fulfilled. You have the complete 7 principles, the 7-day implementation plan, and the same strategies that built industrial empires. You now possess the same 7 principles that Carnegie paid a fortune to discover, the exact formula that built Ford's automotive empire, Edison's groundbreaking innovations, and countless other success stories. More importantly, you have a proven 7-day implementation plan that has generated documented results for thousands of people around the world. The difference between knowledge and transformation is implementation. You can watch 1,000 videos about swimming, but you'll never learn until you get in the water. Similarly, these principles will only create real change when you apply them consistently over the next 7 days. So here's the moment of truth, the question that will determine whether you'll be part of the 2% or continue among the 98%. This is your turning point. Thousands have already transformed their lives with these principles. Your time is now. But here's the brutal truth that will separate you from the 98%. Knowledge without action is just entertainment. You can watch this video 100 more times, but your life will only change when you apply these principles in the next 168 hours. The question isn't whether these methods work. Carnegie proved that. The question is, do you have the courage to step out of your comfort zone for just 7 days? Don't let this become just another video you watched but never acted on. The next 168 hours will either bring you closer to your extraordinary life or keep you exactly where you are. Which version of your story do you choose to write? Commit now. Write in the comments, "I accept the 7-day Napoleon Hill challenge," and share your specific goal. I will personally respond with personalized guidance to maximize your results, but only for the first 100 comments. Your transformation can't wait another week.